Doom's level design is pretty abstract, but I feel like some of the maps found in the Japanese community project WAD take the cake. The levels I want to take a look at today are all made by a Japanese Doom designer called Toasty, and his contributions to the JPCP WAD specifically are fucking insane. The Japanese Doom community is small in comparison to America and other places around the world, but their levels are very unique and fun to play. I will review the Japanese community project probably at some point later on, but it's great to see a different outlook on Doom mapping from halfway across the world. Toasty's levels are weird, and in JPCP, Map 5 is the first one he worked on. As you can see, it's just a mess of different textures with no rhyme or reason, and I think it's fantastic. It blew me away the first time I saw this level, and the word I associate with Map 5 and Toasty's other levels is chaos. All of these textures shouldn't work together, and in normal levels, they don't. But for some reason, Toasty uses these elements to create something entirely unique. It's almost as if a tornado came into Doom and scattered all of the textures around the place. The visuals are completely distinct from other Doom maps, but what is the actual gameplay like? Well, Map 5 and the other Toasty levels that we'll get onto later on are pretty non-linear. You still collect keys and open up exit doors, but there are plenty of hidden areas and secrets to uncover. Trying to find out what you can press on and what activates which door is a confusing mess in these jumbled maps, but that's a part of its charm. The monster placement and combat encounters in Map 5, which by the way is called Wedexial, is fine, but that's not the real highlights of the level. Navigating through this weird space and looking at the mess of textures is what keeps the player interested, and the combat does take a bit of a backseat. This is similar to Alien Vendetta Map 20 for example, where players don't remember the monster placement as much as the spectacle and intricate environments. Wedexial is definitely the weakest level that Toasty made for the Japanese community project, but it does give you a taste of what's to come. For the most part, I think Toasty gets better with each subsequent map, which is always a plus. Map 8 is the next level he designed for this megawad, and it's called 54 Pit. I have no idea why, and I'm interested to find out what the pun is behind the level name. That being said, this map completely refines the previous one he worked on, and I think this is an excellent fucking level. There are more interesting locations, the monster placement is noticeably better, and the gimmick with the bathroom mirror is a nice touch as well. As you walk into this bathroom, you get locked in with a Hell Knight who isn't that difficult to take care of. However, when you kill all of the monsters, you can't seem to open the door again, and it turns out that there is a switch that is only visible when you look into the mirror and you use it to escape the room. This is brilliant, and when I came across this for the first time, I was stunned at how awesome this idea is. Speaking of cool locations, the outside area with the massive holes in the wall is fun to look at, and the snowy room is random as fuck, but a pleasant surprise at the same time. Oh, and if you take a look at the auto map, you will notice that this level is shaped like a Doom comic. I am very impressed with how creative this level is, and I think 54 Pit is so much fun to just explore. There's probably many secrets I'm missing, and I should go back and see if I can find more hidden areas. Map 8 is better than Map 5 in almost every way, and I think it's an absolute improvement. The core idea is the same, and the level is just as random with mashed up textures, but 54 Pit does everything right. Along with working on some of the early maps for the Japanese community project, Toasty also got his hands on the second to last level of the megawad. Map 29, Hazmat Hazama, is the culmination of Toasty's game design approach so far, and it's very hard to finish from a pistol start. The player has to scrounge for ammo, and it always seems like the monsters have a better vantage point than you. They always appear to have the higher ground in fights, and you have to creatively move around the space and pick your battles well. I assume it's probably way easier when you're playing consecutively, but Hazmat Hazama even looks oppressive. This level features blood red waterfalls and dark hell castle textures. I love how the skybox is bright red, and there are sections where it looks like you are floating up on nothing but the sky. Even though map 29 is difficult, I still think it looks excellent, and it's definitely the least forgiving level out of the lot. The level ends with 2 cyber demons and a spider mastermind in this hellish and almost war-torn environment. Map 29 is fantastic, and while it doesn't follow the lighthearted approach of map 8, I love that aspect about it. Hazmat Hazama is dark, unrelenting, and it's supposed to look like a distorted version of hell, and it passes with flying colours. The final level that Toasty worked on was map 32, and this secret map is completely different from his other megawad contributions. It doesn't feature the jumbled mess of textures, and it actually presents itself as a normal level, but it's still brilliant at the same time. Map 32 is called Blood Fund Gang, and the level is set during a bank heist. You are a robber, and your task is to infiltrate the bank, blow up the back of the building, grab the items, and escape. What I found really interesting about the level is that you can actually perform a heist if you make it into one of the vaults in a certain period of time. If you are too late, the vault remains locked, and you can't get any of the items inside. This instantly gives map 32 a ton of replayability, because you will be motivated to plan out the fastest way to the safe and grab the score. The level provides another external challenge outside of getting to the exit or obtaining 100% kills or whatever. Aside from the incredible heist element of the map, there are a couple of times where an alarm will trip and spawn in monsters to come and stop you. This keeps the player engaged, as you don't know exactly when the monsters will start teleporting in during your first time playing the level. The enemies that spawn in are a large group of shotgunners and chain gunners, and the firefight between them is very enjoyable. The design of map 32 is amazing, and the look of this level is also something to praise. While it doesn't share the crazy texture work of Toasty's previous maps, there is still a strange look to this level. Maybe it's the red skybox or the hellish textures on the wall that make map 32 look weird, but I like it either way. Toasty might be responsible for some of the weirdest and craziest looking Doom levels ever made, and this is just a sample of what is in the Japanese community project. I do think everyone should play this megawad if they haven't already, and if you don't want to play through an entire level set, then please just play Toasty's maps. They are so inventive, they are full of odd but fascinating design quirks, and I love the distorted nature of the textures. Map 29 specifically feels out of this world, and there is real craftsmanship on display. This doesn't just seem like a bunch of random textures thrown together, and all of the maps seem purposely constructed. That being said, what do you think about Toasty's levels? And I also want to know from you what you think the weirdest Doom maps are. There's probably a lot more strange Doom mods out there, and I want to look at them, so if you could, please drop them down below. Thank you for watching.